everyone, and welcome to Pearls of Wisdom with Nirmal. I'm Avan Dabash. Today we put the spotlight on a company that was founded in 2012, backed by Temasek and Zomato. I'm talking about the logistics unicorn Shiprocket. It manages shipments for direct-to-consumer or D2C brands and online sellers, and that makes a substantial portion of its revenue. With 3 lakh plus e-commerce brands, they are looking at an IPO soon, lots of acquisitions and opportunities. Sahil Goel is the MD and CEO of Shiprocket and now joins in. Thank you so much for taking time out. Now, let's start off by talking about the budget. It was very MSME focused, lots of measures to reinforce this vision. What did you make of it?
I think the government has done a good thing when it comes to consumption. You know, as a e-commerce enabler, we obviously work with hundreds of thousands of small businesses, who run their digital businesses on our platform. And one of the things over the last few years that has come up as a consistent feedback from many of the merchants when they're sort of not experiencing enough growth is to do with consumption overall. So I think the tax cuts and sort of significant money going back in the hands of consumers should hopefully spur some amount of consumption, which is positive for the industry. I think other than that, there is sort of the funding towards more startups, right? I think that in the past has done well for the economy, and I think in the coming future, the government supporting through its Fund of Funds initiative should really help unlock even more businesses and funding for them so that they can grow their businesses in the coming times.
So you're preparing for the Big Bang listing. Tell us how you're looking to raise, how much you're looking to raise, what's the timeline in place? You recently converted the public into a public company as well ahead of this IPO. What was the reason for that?
Yeah, so I think, for us, we have been talking about being a public company for a while, and initially it started by us just being more disciplined, honestly, and following sort of a rigor that we would have if we were a public company, just to get us in shape. And then over the last few years, we have been able to do that successfully. I don't think that there is a timeline as such in our minds at the moment. I think we are, for a platform like ours, which is an operating system and really goes out there connecting into potentially millions of merchants in the future. It's a long-term business. It's a play which requires sort of embedding over a period of time, and we believe that there is for a platform like ours with a 2-decade kind of roadmap, being public aligns everyone's incentives. It brings a certain trust factor around the company, both for the consumers and the merchants who interact with our platform, and so on. So I think those were our reasons to contemplate going public at some point. But that's all I can share at the moment.
Sure. And financials, after many years of losses, you have become profitable, and I believe that you are looking at the capability to use cash to drive your acceleration. Tell us more.
Yeah, so I think our business works along 2 main kind of pillars. There is our core shipping business, which has been growing and is profitable for a while now. Will continue being profitable. It's our flagship offering. It's the majority part of our business, and most of the profits that get made there are being utilized by our emerging businesses, which is platforms in innovating on new age supply chain, using our fulfillment centers and cargo sort of movement, quick commerce and quick delivery, faster same-day deliveries for our merchant set. And it is being invested behind building platforms that will help merchants grow their business, whether it is access to dilution-free capital, or whether using our conversion technologies on the merchant website, or our checkout and payments engine. So all of these new innovations are at early stage. They have been around for a couple of years, and obviously we are pushing hard by investing behind them to be able to grow the business. So overall, a very exciting time, for the company in front of us, just in terms of digitization overall, e-commerce penetration overall. And we believe that in the coming 5 to 10 years, SMEs, which are almost a third of our GDP and almost half of our exports, are going to be the ones where most of this digitization will unlock opportunities. And we want to be ahead of the curve by investing ahead of time, by building these technologies so that we can harness potential over time.
Right, and you've also reduced the cash EBITDA burn by 50% this time around in FY24 to about 100 crore rupees. How do you see your cash burn, your margins shaping up?
I think, like I said, the company is in growth mode, right? The company will continuously try to capture more of the market and build more solutions ahead of time. I think the way we drive the business is obviously in a sustainable fashion, in a self-sufficient fashion, but at the same time, if there are opportunities which require us to invest ahead of time, we will follow that. So I think we approach this from a very first principle kind of thinking, and we approach it from at least a 5 to 10 year horizon when we make our calls on investment or not, right? So from a reduction of cash burn is an outcome more than the specific goal. While of course the company will continue to maintain profitability, etc. The core business drives a large part of it, and I think that rhythm will continue where the core continues to kind of generate cash and we continue investing behind emerging verticals.
And what's the long-term plan for your GMV? You're looking to grow it multifold?
Yeah, I think we power about 30,000 crores of sales for our merchants on our platform today. We are not a marketplace, right? We are a SMB platform working with over 200 partners, whether it is in shipping or courier or hyperlocal, postal or warehousing or payments and so on. So that's kind of how the platform is built. For us, we believe that there are 2-3 big areas which will drive significant amount of growth within our shipping business. Sort of the newer supply chains and the newer needs of customers that are now showing up are around faster delivery, around augmented sort of inventory solutions by storing inventory closer to the end customer in various forms. So new age supply chain innovations, let's call them. And that's a big area for us. This also allows us to start tapping into small offline retailers who need a different kind of shipping, and many of whom are already kind of deriving some part of the demand from the digital commerce kind of phenomena. Typically, they don't get counted in e-commerce, but these are merchants that are transacting digitally, and many of them are already doing this. So that's a big push for the company as well to kind of go into this new market of millions of offline retailers who can benefit from this shipping stack that we have built. And apart from that, growing our cross-border business or exporters as a category of merchants is another big area for the company, where we believe that there are significant tailwinds over the next 5 to 10 years. The government is obviously making a lot of policy level changes, a lot of simplification of processes, working hand in hand with DGFT to kind of make some of these unlocks, and working with several thousand merchants who are using our export rails today to ship their package. So I think those are 2 big areas for the company where we believe that the shipping business will get pushed forward by accessing newer markets of SMBs, which so far we were targeting only the digital guys. And from a new vertical perspective, I think the cross-border business is a big focus area and continues to be something which is growing very, very rapidly.
How many territories, how many PIN codes are you present in, and how do you plan to grow that?
So the way the platform works is, we offered coverage of every location in India. Let's talk about India and global separately. And in India, we integrate with everybody from India Post to, the top couriers, hyperlocal guys, unknown couriers, all under one platform. So it actually gives us the widest possible reach because we are India's only multimodal logistics network by that sort of design of the platform, because we are plugging into the capacities of ground logistics players. We are a digital logistics enabler, which means that we actually don't run any of the assets or the fleets or the people and so on. We work with people who already do that and basically give them business or give them demand from our customer network, and let our merchants be able to kind of design their logistics in a simple and easy to use way, whether through our mobile app or through our web app. And then they can use it to send registered post or EMS through India Post. They can do hyperlocal deliveries, they can do pan-India cargo deliveries, they can do hyperlocal 3-wheeler, 2-wheeler deliveries, they can do forward and reverse, air and truck. So all of that is in one platform. So by design of our platform, we should have the highest reach in India. There should not be any post office or PIN code that we don't service, by the way. And from a global perspective, it's a similar situation where we work with sort of the leading national or international carriers, and then we have built our own lanes, right, where we work with, let's say, 3 or 4 providers to power one lane. So for example, the US is a large part of the market. Nearly 60-70% of the volume from India goes to the US. There we have established our own lanes. We are going deeper into those lanes, creating more injection points, etc., all in the back of partners. And next we're going to work on doing UK and then Australia, Canada, Middle East, and so on. So there will be this expansion of lanes where we can provide better service and quality and price. But at the same time, from a coverage perspective, because we end up working in a virtualized kind of network, we do provide coverage across the world in every country as we speak.
You've also got the D2C marketplace Zorp. How is that faring?
So I think under my emerging initiatives, oftentimes our teams and product managers and some other business leaders often try different things. And Zorp is one such thing where we had a two-pronged objective. One was to test demand generation for our merchants. So exclusively only for D2C merchants, exclusively merchants who work with Shiprocket and so on. But also to sit in the driving seat of the merchant to really have a up close and personal look on what are the challenges when it comes to driving digital marketing or conversion or checkout, and why do consumers drop off, or where are the interventions possible. So to be able to really build a better pre-order journey for our merchants, we felt it no better way to kind of use first-hand experience to drive the learnings and insights behind that. And that's kind of why we got into it. So the goal isn't so much to kind of get into that market, so to speak. The goal is to be able to kind of dip our toes and stay active and keep learning on what's happening, to be able to then build products and solutions for our merchants ultimately, to be able to advertise better, to be able to convert better, to be able to receive payments better, and so on, right? So I think that is the kind of reason why that's been launched. It's not so much of a directional change or anything from the company's perspective.
Sure. And you've also said that you're in an acquisition spree after undergoing that major restructuring in FY23, where a lot of your acquisitions like Picker, Wixo, etc. were restructured. What's your acquisition game plan now?
Yeah, I think I don't think we are getting up for an acquisition spree. I know there is some articles around that. I think the focus, so the way the platform works, right? We have solid distribution into small and medium businesses and extremely tight engagement, right? Our merchants use us several times a day because we act as their backend. We are not just a shipping plugin, right? We end up becoming their back office where merchants enable various services. They manage their inventory, they manage their orders, they even manage their customer support. So it's like you can, once you get an order, you pretty much stay logged into Shiprocket to then run your business. So very high level of engagement with nearly 150,000 merchants who are active with us. When we got that, what we realized is that they have problems across the value chain, whether it is in cargo shipping or in warehousing or in quick commerce or in WhatsApp marketing or in checkout and so on. And we went through our acquisition journey in the past, trying to build those new categories, if I can use that word, within the shipping ecosystem that we had built. And that strategy will continue is what I've been asserting into the future, which means that if there are other parts of the e-commerce transaction for the merchant which makes sense, and we don't have that capability today, or we may decide to short circuit acceleration by acquiring somebody, as long as the build versus buy economics work well, we will continuously look for those acquisitions. It's not a task item where we have to do it. It's more about saying, okay, well, what aligns long term with what the merchants need and what aligns best with our vision to democratize commerce and enable merchants the best. If there are companies out there that are solving for point solutions in a vertical, AI solutions in a vertical, accounting, reconciliation, analytics, insights, advertising, all of these are use cases that are new to us, right? Shipping is something obviously we have built and grown over the last several years, but these are newer initiatives for us under our emerging business kind of bucket. And within those, if there are things which we believe are going to help unlock a lot of value by using our sort of deep distribution into SMBs, then that's something we'll continuously look at.
And what about competition? There are a lot of players within this space. How are you looking at the competitive intensity? How do you plan to stand out?
Our competition is, and I'll use this example, right? As a consumer, you can book your tickets on a Make My Trip or an Indigo. Both allow, and this is a consumer use case. In our case, obviously, it's much more complex. But at the same time, we are a platform which allows merchants to access n number of suppliers in a seamless way with us owning the transaction and managing the closure and the dispute. So that is sort of the way we've designed our platform. And there aren't a lot of direct competition today. Our number two competitor was Picker Technologies, which is a company we acquired a couple of years ago, three years ago, which, as you rightly pointed out, we've integrated back successfully into the core company. So there isn't a direct sort of meaningful direct competition today, but it is a substitution kind of a situation where customers can choose to work directly with a supplier, and then it's a trade-off of saying, well, if I work direct, what do I gain? And if I go through a platform, what do I gain? And I think we are sort of exclusively building this for small and medium businesses. Our interfaces, our sort of innovation in AI, the way the platform works, the pricing, the pricing model, the way we give support, the way we kind of collect money, all of those things are unique and in a way is a moat for us to be able to continuously win this market. We've been doing this for over 12 years, 13 years now to be exact, and believe that we are very well versed with a variety of use cases, especially when it comes to SMB. And we have always used technology and intelligence to solve a lot of these problems while working with the best in class sort of, the hard asset providers in the market. And this model is what makes the business unique to begin with. But yes, from a competition perspective, I think it is the sort of supplier the merchant going direct to one of our network partners, and that, all coming from there, both are situations that occur. But yeah, I think from a direct competition, I don't think there's anybody there.
Okay. Right. And you're also looking at generating new demand for merchants. You're looking at really improving the merchant experience. You've spoken about lower cost of customer acquisition, as well as a better customer experience and better customer screening. How do you plan to do that?
Yeah, I think long term, again, we try to imagine what the future of India looks like in, let's say, 15, 20 years. What GDPs per capita would we have at that point? What would that do to consumption and also to digital consumption and to digital penetration, right? And as you think about all of these things, there are 2-3 things happening in India. There is obviously the metro / the tier 1 customer who's going to be buying more frequently and expecting things to come sooner. There will be premiumization of current products, new products will enter, and so on. But then there's also the next 400 million consumers who are not digital buyers yet, who are content consumers, maybe service buyers, and so on. They will start coming under the fold too, because their disposable income will also grow. So those two phenomena are happening together, is our belief. And as a platform of SMB enablement and digitization, we will actually be beneficiaries of all trends that happen, right? So if quick commerce is a trend in tier 1, we work with quick commerce, dark store suppliers, hyperlocal providers, and use our technology solution to stitch this together and offer it like a service. In the future, if rural commerce becomes a big thing, we will be the best positioned to be able to utilize our rural shipping network and then payments and then stitch this together. So I think we will be able to kind of take this business to service all kinds of use cases as the market evolves, and our SMBs community who is strong on the platform, they will determine and define a lot of where the new demand pockets and opportunities arise. So I think, but that's the macro. So my point is that ultimately, from a vision perspective, we see us already driving a large part of digital commerce outside the typical marketplaces as the single most kind of important and systemically important enabler for merchants in the digital space. I think when it comes to export and the offline retail and the rural tier 3, tier 4, that entire piece of commerce, which is still very unstructured, not well known, kind of emerging at the moment, I think will become a big force, because I just don't see how in 15 years, where such a variety of use cases for commerce exist, there will be a lot of social reliance on local networks. There will be all kinds of digitization of merchants and tools that will crop up. I just don't see that it will follow the trend of commerce that we see today. And this is evident even from countries like US, Shopify there and several others are enabling direct commerce in a big way. In China, you've got Taobao and WeChat and stuff within it in a slightly different way, but still it's more direct for brands and shops and merchants. So I see that in India, at least from a trend perspective, that will only grow because more and more people and merchants will want to jump on this sort of e-commerce bandwagon, and then the current marketplace models will not always be conducive to supporting all kinds of trades, because commerce in the future will become more and more omni-channel. Consumers will want to get served on an Instagram as good as walking into a shop. So I think the expectations on the consumers will also change with time, and we're trying to build the platform as an operating system of sorts, so that all kinds of demand, all kinds of shipping, all kinds of payments can be processed on the same platform, and we can kind of be ubiquitous as the back end or the invisible operating system layer powering this whole thing for SMEs. So that's sort of the vision, and I think India allows us that opportunity, luckily so, to be able to build for its future.
It's been so interesting talking to you. Thank you so much, Sahil, for shedding light on Shiprocket as well as your long-term plans, and all the very best for the IPO.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.